We are the Video Store Junkies. This is Q-Tips, and you need recommendations for what to watch this weekend on your favorite streaming services. And luckily, that's exactly what we have. So let's get started. For the weekend of May 27th, 2022, Paul, why don't you kick us off?
Why, certainly. Why, thank you, Zach. My first film, I saw it at the 2008 Nevermore Film Festival. But what's funny is it looks like it wasn't released officially till 2016, so it took them a while to get it back out and circulated. When I saw it, it was called Paper Dolls.
Hmm.
But the new title is The Sighting. Frankly, I like Paper Dolls better. It's currently showing on the Roku channel. It's a psychological horror film about Bigfoot. And that's really the best description of it. You have it takes place in Glacier National Park. I believe that's where it was actually filmed. And two high school friends, after there was a recent tragedy, they head out on a road trip, and they are in the woods and get attacked by big feet. And one of them gets away, and he grabs the guy's older brother, and they head back to try and rescue the guy. Um, it's again, it's not the highest budget. The big feet are seen just barely. In fact, that's where the original title was Paper Dolls, because there's like a scene where they're kind of silhouetted and look like paper dolls. But they aren't paper dolls. But I mean, how their paper dolls are held together here and holding hands. But they're not kumbayaing. I mean, it's good. It's a good low budget. Like I said, it honestly is a psychological horror film about Bigfoot. So again, that is The Sighting, originally called Paper Dolls, currently playing on the Roku channel. And again, since Bill is a big fan of Big Feet, I will pass this on to you.
Well, I am going to talk about another cryptozoological related film. It's
Great.
2001's Brotherhood of the Wolf, which is on Shudder.
Yes.
This
Yes.
is a classy production. Christopher Gans. It's got that. It's French, and when the French make a good movie, they really can fire on all cylinders. It just looks great. It's based on the beast of, I believe it's Gavaudin, a real life creature that killed a bunch of people back in the 18th century and was hunted down and killed. They still argue about to this day what it was. I kind of like the theory that it was a hyena that was brought for a menagerie and escaped and just started killing. Don't have his usual prey out there, and humans are such easy prey. This one takes a different tact and brings in all kinds of kind of Illuminati and cults and all kinds of stuff. It's pretty and cool. The fights are great. They have an American Indian character who, with savant kicking, and it's all over the place. It's got Monica Bellucci, so come on, it's a lot of fun. I saw this at what was it? Not Fantasia. Nevermore Film Festival. We just took a chance, thought the poster looked good, and loved every minute of it. Haven't seen it in a while, but it's on Shudder, and definitely I'm going to have to revisit. So, Brotherhood of the Wolf, and I will send this to Zach.
Yeah, I'm going to second that one. Actually, I haven't seen that movie in a hot minute, so
Yeah,
I think maybe that's gonna be on my list of movies to watch, whatever weekend I get to watch movies. Because as I've mentioned in all of the previous episodes this month, I've been on the road. I've been in the great outdoors. Actually, by the time this airs, I will be back home, safe and sound, recovering from my trip. This whole month, I've been recommending great outdoors films, most of which have been like kind of cheesy horror films, because obviously, the great outdoors is kind of rife for, it's kind of ripe for that sort of horror movie. So I think I'm actually going to finish the month out with some more serious recommendations. And the first one I have is a film from 2007. It is based on a phenomenal book. It's a bit of a downer. The movie and the book are Into the Wild, and they are both
mm,
about the true story. Yeah. It's based on a true story about a young man named Christopher McCandless, who he kind of went on a trip after, I believe it was graduating from college, and he took a trip to the Alaskan wilderness where very tragically he kind of went out into the woods and ended up dying. And this is a story, it's a bit controversial, not because of the story itself, but just because of, I think, some of the reactions to this. So, I mean, I will say, I think the thing I like about the movie is I think it examines his life and the trip that led to his death without, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't, I think it's a fair, treatment of him as a person. I just know that a lot of people have kind of elevated him in the years since his passing. And basically, let me just sum it up by saying, he didn't deserve to die, but man, just don't do this. Don't go out into the woods unprepared. It's a bad idea. It's a really sad story. He left his family behind. The movie, it's such a great movie, directed by Sean Penn, which I don't care what you think about Sean Penn. I think he is a very talented filmmaker. This is, it's a very well-made film. It stars Emil Hirsch as Christopher McCandless. Also, the supporting cast in this one is phenomenal. It co-stars Marcia Gay Harden, William Hurt, Jenna Malone, Catherine Keener, Kristen Stewart, and actually in a callback to my first recommendation of this month, it also features a small role by Hal Holbrook. So check it out. It's, like I said, it's a phenomenal film. Obviously, like, the subject matter is, it's pretty sad. It's pretty unfortunate. But I think it's a respectful look at his life. And I'll also recommend, if you like the movie, check out the book by John Krakauer on which the movie is based, because it's one of the best nonfiction books I have ever read. So that being said, I will pass it over to Renee.
Well, hello. I too have very serious recommendations for you this week. Actually, no, I don't. I'm just trying to lighten the mood. But I don't want to be disrespectful to Mr. McCandless. That is a very sad story. Yes. So my recommendation is something that I have recommended in the long ago times, but I just really enjoy this movie. It gives me the giggles and I really like it. And it is called Dolls. And it is because y'all know I love my doll movies. It is available on Tubi and Pluto. And man, I tell you, this whole thing with all you guys giving me like cryptid movies and Bigfoot, and now I'm recommending myself a doll movie. It's just so good. So this kid, or really a family, gets kind of stuck. Their car gets stuck in the mud. And they find this house. It's like pouring rain. It's pretty gross. So they find this house and they kind of take shelter there, and it just so happens that like these other girls get stuck. They show up, and this guy's like a salesman. He gets stuck there, and they are just kind of trying to survive the night, more or less, with this kind of strange older couple, and in this kind of like a haunted mansion sort of. So yeah, it's pretty good, and it makes me laugh, and I enjoy it. And this movie is called Dolls, and it is available on Tubi and Pluto. And God forgive me, Zach, it is your turn now. No, it's not. You just gave it to me. I'm giving it to Bill.
Yeah, I will say, actually,
I think I went first, but that's
actually, I will interrupt to say I think I forgot to mention that Into the Wild is playing on Netflix, so I'll just take this opportunity to say that.
All right.
So is it really Mike?
You know who goes next? It's Paul. Hey, Paul. What's your next pick?
I think, or was it Bill? Maybe it was Bill.
I don't know.
We've been doing this so long. It's
blah blah blah.
At this point, Bill,
why don't you go and you pass it to me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm doing another favorite of mine, not from 1957, but just 1 year later, 1958. It's Fiend Without a Face. They really did come up with some good titles back then. Fiend Without a Face is on AMC. It is indeed a classic, though. It's English. It's set in Canada, so yeah, go figure. It's set in Canada with a bunch of... But the thing about this movie, it's about this guy who's experimenting with brain research and telekinesis, and he accidentally creates an invisible entity that goes around and kills people by sucking their brains out. And I know you're thinking, invisible monster, that's the cheapest idea anyone ever came up with. And yeah, usually invisible monsters suck because they're invisible and it's just a string pulling something along. This movie's pretty good. I mean, you don't see the creature because it's invisible, but you hear this horrible sucking sound and all kinds of things happen. You're like, okay, this is pretty good. Too bad that doesn't have a monster. Hold on to your horses, because right at the very end, the last 20 minutes, the things become visible. and holy crap, are they amazing. It's a stop motion brain with a ambulatory spinal cord that comes out, and they crawl along like inchworms, and they jump at you and wrap their spinal cord around your neck while the brain part sucks out your brain. That's how it works. It's great. And these people are trapped in a house. This is totally where Night of the Living Dead got its ideas. And these things are just trying to break through. They're boarding up. They're shooting them, and gore comes pouring out of them. 1958, and these brains are exploding with black and white blood. Looks like chocolate syrup, which I'm sure it was. Super effective. Some of the best stop motion ever. I don't think the people who did this ever did another special effect movie like that. But absolutely fun. If you don't like this movie, you can get your money back from me. Fiend Without a Face. Check it out. Highest recommendation. Scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. And I will send this to Paul.
Why, thank you, Bill. In Iron Giant, the movie The Iron Giant, the kid's watching an old horror movie on TV. Well, of course, it takes place, I guess, and it's essentially Fiend Without a Face.
Yeah. I think this movie it had a big effect on a lot of folks who later started making movies, because you see it turn up in Beetlejuice too. There's a little homage to them there.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, my film is not Fiend Without a Face, or Iron Giant, or Beetlejuice. Mine isn't even a Bigfoot film. I know. But I wouldn't even call it a psychological film. Let's look at one of the main actresses. Is Galen Ross, and she's only before she became a respected documentarian, which she is now. She's directed quite a few documentaries. She had only starred in 3 horror movies. Dawn of the Dead was her first film. The last film she acted in was crap. Why am I drawing a blank now? Because it's all like crack.
It's a weird name for a movie. Oh.
Yeah, no. This all right. The last film she directed. I mean, she's all right. Boop, 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 boop. Back. Okay, here we go. So the first film she was ever in as an actress was Dawn of the Dead. The last film she was ever in as an actress was Creepshow. Both classics, right? Both Romero classics. Her middle film, not Romero, not classic, but it is my pick. Why? It's 1982's Madman.
Oof.
Bill, this is where you groan.
Yeah.
And this is your classic, Friday the 13th ripoff, as it were. I know this would have been more appropriate last week, but too bad. It is. It's a shitty Friday the 13th ripoff, but it's so much fun. Basically, they tell the tale of the killer Madman Mars, and of course the teenagers at camp, which it's like it's winter. They're all like cold, but they're talking about like the beginning of camp, so I don't know, what the hell's going on there. But anyway, one of the kids calls out the name Madman Mars, which brings upon Madman Mars's wrath, where he slaughters them all. It's garbage, but it's so much fun garbage. And Paul Ehrlers, who plays Madman Mars, also did the wonderful poster art for it. So there you go. I should tell you where it's playing. It's playing on the Roku channel, Tubi, and Pluto TV. That's 1981. So I said 1982. I lied. It's 1981's Madman. One word, not to be confused with Mad Men, which is that AMC series.
So Paul, what did you think of the hot tub sequence?
Well, again, so Galen Ross. Yeah. So there we go.
Okay. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, this movie's trash, but it's such fun trash. And I think the first time I saw it was with a crowd at the Alamo, so that I think maybe
that helps.
That definitely enhances if you can see it with a crowded group of people who have access to alcohol, it makes it all the better. And speaking of having access to alcohol, who the hell do I pass this to? Zach? Are you the next one? I believe it's you, Zach.
You can if you want. There are no rules here. I feel like we're being too beholden to this whole process anyways. I mean, we can do whatever we want.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, no one can edit us out, so except for me, I guess. But okay, so I am rounding out this month of wilderness picks with something that's actually a bit of a follow-up to last week's pick, where I recommended Until Dawn, which is available on PlayStation Plus, but not everyone has a PlayStation. So I'm going to recommend another video game this week, and this one is for all of you Xbox and PC players out there. And again, this is a bit more of a serious story than some of the other stuff I've recommended this month. The game is Firewatch. And this one is about, it's an adventure game where you play a guy named Henry who he's had some stuff going on in his life. So he's going out in Wyoming. It's actually set in the late 80s, I believe. And he's going out to do Firewatch for a fire season out there. And some weird stuff starts happening. And you get to kind of unravel the mysteries of this area. And I don't really want to say any more. I'll just say a couple things about this. It is an adventure game. There's not a ton of. I don't want to say there's not a ton of gameplay, but some people call this a walking simulator to be funny. They're not completely wrong. I mean, there's a lot of walking and talking and dialogue in it, but that's not to diminish it. I mean, it also won like a ton of awards for like best writing that the year it came out in I think 2017. So anyways, what I'm getting at here though is the story is so powerful. I actually have very distinct memories of at one point my friend bought me this game and I sat down and I intended to play it for a few minutes just to check it out. And about 6 hours later, I had finished it. So that was kind of my, I fired it up and I literally could not stop playing it. So it is a pretty short game. So it's a 5 or 6 hour game. So you could play it in a weekend. And this one is available. It's if you have Xbox Game Pass, which is available on the old Xbox, obviously, but you can also get it if you have Windows 10 or I guess now Windows 11. So if you're on either of those platforms, you can play this one. And I will also say, I think Game Pass, if they're not doing one now, they often do these like introductory things where you can get like a month of Game Pass for like $1. So you could check this game out and maybe check some other stuff out as well. So that is my final pick for, I guess, this week and the month of May. And I will pass it over to Renee.
Oh my goodness, you guys! I'm very honored to be the final pick, and you've given me so much over the past few weeks. I hope that I am rewarding you appropriately with this. Oh God, forgive me. Oh God. So there comes a time in everyone's life when they just need to sit down and watch a Robert movie.
Yay!
My recommendation, my recommendation is The Revenge of Robert. Yes, I'm skipping ahead. I believe this is the third Robert movie, but I'm serious. It's really not bad. And if you like Puppet Master, you're gonna like this movie. It is really kind of an homage, to Puppet Master. There are Nazis involved. There is a toy maker. He is in possession of a mystical book, which helps him to bring inanimate objects alive. And there is a vintage doll who happens to be possessed with the spirit of a young boy, who will do anything he can to protect his master. And seriously, I watched all of them. I mean, of course, I watched all of them. But not long ago, I watched this one, and it really is pretty not bad. So I just would love, I think everyone just should sit down and watch Revenge of Robert, especially Zach, because I think it'll really help him to enjoy his time off, because he'll just be like, God, I cannot wait to get away from these damn people. And it is available on Tubi, Vudu, Plex, and something I've never heard of, Dark Matter, or maybe I had and I forgot about it. Anyway, again, my final recommendation is The Revenge of Robert.
Wow. Well, on that note, I think that does it for the weekend of May 27th, 2022. But it wouldn't be the end of a Q-Tips episode without a song from, I don't know, who wants to sing?
If no one else has a song, I got
Paul?
one.
Okay, there's a first time for everything. Take it away.
I always knew this as the Ballad of Madman Mars, but I guess its official title is The Legend Lives / Beware by Steve Horlick, and it's the theme of Madman. And to be life of me, I can't remember the actual tune, so I'm just gonna do what the hell I can with it. So it's the lore of the campfire, telling of this horror, lost in the woods with the madman in the stars. Don't laugh at the tale.
Heed if you call him the legend lives, beware the madman Mars.
And as always, here's a summary of the things that we recommended that you watch for the weekend of May 27th, 2022. Bill recommended Brotherhood of the Wolf, which is currently available on Shudder, Canopy, and AMC+, and Fiend Without a Face, which is currently available on AMC+. Paul recommended The Sighting, which is available on Roku, and Madman, which is available on Roku, Tubi, and Pluto. Renee suggested Dolls, which is currently available on Tubi and Pluto, and The Revenge of Robert, currently playing on Tubi, Vudu, Plex, and Dark Matter. And finally, I recommended Into the Wild, which is currently available on Netflix, and Firewatch, which is not a movie or a TV show, it's a video game, and you can play it for free if you have Xbox Game Pass, which can be played on Xbox or PC. And if you don't have that and you want to play it, there's a chance that you could go and get a subscription for like $1 right now, so go check it out.